It's the weekend, and I'm making French toast for brunch. But I'm not serving just French toast to my guests. I'm making a breakfast bread pudding. And instead of just using plain old ordinary bread, I'm going to make French toast and then turn that into a scrumptious bread pudding. And it pretty much is a basic, simple, homey French toast recipe. Start with a couple of eggs and a cup and a half of milk. I stir the eggs first, then add the milk. And the nice thing about French toast is you can just whip it up in a snap, even though it takes that little extra time to cook it, since this has to have a little flair to it. I'll put in a splash of vanilla, a little pinch of cinnamon, just a little pinch, and a bit of nutmeg, just that little touch. And I do have some day-old French bread, and I've got about 10 slices here, and a griddle that I've preheated. So you can do this in a non-stick pan if you wish. And I'll just brush this with a little oil. And I coat the bread, but I don't really let it soak in too much. And this will just take a couple minutes on each side. It's nicely browned. You can smell the vanilla. It's amazing what just that little bit of nutmeg, cinnamon, and vanilla can do. Completely transforms French toast. I'm going to cut this into cubes. That way, the next egg and milk mixture I make can soak in. Ooh, these are still warm. All right, to really make this a breakfast bread pudding, I'm a huge fan of bananas. You could use peaches in season, but I've already got the peach jam, so I don't want to replicate my peaches too many times. You could use apples, pears, even frozen cranberries. Just slice these up. There we go. I'm a big fan of oatmeal, and I always have to put golden raisins and a little brown sugar on my oatmeal. So I'm going to work the golden raisins into the bread pudding. I do have an 8-inch square pan that's been greased. And I'm going to layer in the cubed bread with the banana and a sprinkle of raisins. Nice even layer of bread at the bottom. And just pack it in there, all those goodies. The last few slices of banana. Here we go. And then the last step is just to make this custard mixture. So I'll add 3 eggs and 1 egg yolk. So I'll just separate the egg here. And the 3 eggs. 2 cups of milk. Half a cup of maple syrup adds just the right amount of sweetness. So it really is more breakfast tasting. It's not over the top sweet. Half a cup of yogurt. And then the last addition, to keep it breakfasty but still a treat, just a little touch of vanilla. Now, the real trick is going to be to pour all of this liquid into this well-filled pan. Let's see how we can do it. Woo, look at that, right to the top. This is definitely going to feed a crowd. A bread pudding takes a gentle cooking because it's a custard, eggs and the milk together. And so that means you have to cook it in a water bath, because it's actually the gentle heat of the water that's going to protect, but at the same time, cook the bread pudding in the oven. So I've got some recently boiled water. It doesn't have to be boiling hot. If your tap water is hot, that's enough. Halfway around. And before I take it to the oven, a little sprinkling of turbinado sugar, which creates a nice sugary, crusty top to the bread pudding. I find the bread pudding takes 75 to 85 minutes at 350. But you know, if you're cooking for brunch and you want to get ahead, you can make this a full day ahead, chill it, and simply rewarm it at about the same temperature for another 20 minutes, and it's ready to serve, so you can take the headache out. There we go. And after the bread pudding comes out and cools, and I can check its doneness by pressing the top of it, and when the middle of it springs back, I know it's cooked all the way through. But after this comes out of the oven, then I'll head to the backyard to grill up my teriyaki steak and bean salad.